Have you ever wondered what secrets lie sealed inside your iPhone or your Mac? What if I told you that at the very heart of these devices, there's a story of betrayal, ambition, and a multi-decade quest for absolute control? This isn't just about faster computers. This is the story of why Apple, a company known for its design and software, embarked on one of the most audacious and expensive gambles in tech history to forge its own silicon soul. Apple's decision to design its own chips wasn't born from a single eureka moment. It's a conviction forged in the fires of past failures, a bold vision for a future no one else could see, and an almost fanatical obsession with perfection. To understand this journey, we have to go back to a time when Apple's very survival was in question. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Apple was chained to an alliance. The PowerPC architecture, born from a partnership between Apple, IBM, and Motorola, was meant to be the engine that would propel the Mac to victory. But this alliance, known as AIM, became a source of constant frustration. Apple found itself at the mercy of partners who time and again failed to deliver on their promises of faster, more efficient chips. As IBM and Motorola shifted their focus to more lucrative markets, Apple was left with a product line that was falling behind, a roadmap dictated by the whims of others. It was a painful lesson in the dangers of dependency. The breaking point came in 2005. In a move that shocked the industry, Steve Jobs stood on stage and announced that Apple was severing its ties with PowerPC and transitioning its entire Mac lineup to Intel processors. It was a pragmatic, almost desperate decision, a move necessary for survival. The partnership with Intel brought a much-needed surge in performance and breathed new life into the Mac, but deep down, it was merely swapping one master for another. Apple was still reliant on an external roadmap, unable to fully dictate the timeline or the specific features of the silicon that powered its machines. Then, just as this new chapter began, a revolution was brewing. The first iPhone, launched in 2007, was a device that would change the world. And it ran on a chip produced by Samsung based on ARM's architecture. It worked, but it was a compromise. The chip was a generic component, not a bespoke heart, perfectly tuned to Apple's grand vision for mobile computing. A new, more critical dependency had emerged, this time in a market that would soon define Apple's future. The seeds of independence were quietly sown in the shadow of these dependencies. Within Apple, a core belief was solidifying. To create truly revolutionary products, the hardware and software had to be conceived as one. True integration wasn't just a marketing slogan, it was a technical necessity. This realization led Apple to make a discreet but pivotal move in 2008. They acquired a small, unassuming company called PA Semi, not for its products, but for its people, a team of brilliant, world-class chip engineers. Hidden from public view, this team began the clandestine work of building Apple's future, one transistor at a time. The world was about to see the first fruit of this secret labor. In 2010, the curtain was pulled back. With the unveiling of the first iPad came the introduction of the Apple A4, the company's very first custom-designed chip. This wasn't just a processor, it was a system on a chip, or SoC. This philosophy of integrating the central processing unit, the graphics processing unit, memory controller, and other vital components onto a single piece of silicon would become the cornerstone of Apple's entire strategy. The A4 was more than a component, it was a declaration of independence. This integrated approach, honed and perfected over the next decade, gave Apple an advantage that its competitors simply could not match. By controlling every aspect of the silicon, Apple unlocked a level of optimization that was previously unimaginable. Because the same company designed the iOS software and the A-series chips it ran on, they could achieve a synergy that resulted in breathtaking performance and incredible energy efficiency. This is the secret behind the iPhone S's legendary performance per watt, the ability to deliver powerful experiences without draining the battery. This deep integration also allowed Apple to build in specialized technologies that no off-shelf chip could offer. The Neural Engine, a dedicated processor for machine learning tasks, made features like Face ID and advanced computational photography possible. The Secure Enclave provided a hardware-level fortress for your most sensitive data, like fingerprints and financial information. These weren't just features, they were experiences, woven into the very fabric of the device. This newfound self-sufficiency granted Apple something even more valuable than performance: absolute control over its own destiny. No longer shackled to the product cycles of Intel or Qualcomm, Apple could now chart its own course, planning revolutionary products years, even decades in advance. This freedom to innovate on their own terms became the engine for their most ambitious projects. They could design highly specialized silicon tailored for the unique demands of a smartwatch, or develop groundbreaking chips purpose-built for future frontiers like augmented and virtual reality. The power to dictate their own roadmap was the ultimate strategic advantage. The culmination of this long journey arrived in 2020. After years of mastering chip design in its mobile devices, Apple announced its most audacious transition yet. The Mac would leave Intel behind and move to its own Apple Silicon. The first chip, the M1, was a revolution. It delivered a staggering leap in performance and battery life that shattered expectations for what a personal computer could do. Professional video editors, programmers, and designers discovered that this sleek, silent, ARM-based chip could not only compete with, but often surpass the power-hungry Intel processors in high-end desktops. It was a resounding validation of Apple's long-term strategy, proving that the patient, methodical pursuit of vertical integration had paid off spectacularly. Of course, this path is not without peril. Forging your own silicon is an endeavor of colossal expense and immense risk. The investment in research, development, and talent runs into the billions of dollars each year. Furthermore, while Apple designs its chips, it doesn't manufacture them. This creates a critical dependency on a single partner, the Taiwanese semiconductor giant TSMC. Any disruption to TSMC's operations, whether geopolitical or logistical, could bring Apple's entire product line to a grinding halt. The pressure to innovate is also relentless. Each new generation of chip must deliver a meaningful leap forward, a bar that gets harder to clear with every success. And finally, this tightly controlled closed ecosystem, while enabling seamless experiences, draws criticism and regulatory scrutiny for limiting consumer choice and competition. Despite these challenges, Apple's silicon ambition is the key that will unlock its future. As artificial intelligence becomes more integrated into our daily lives, Apple's strategy is to bring that processing directly onto your device with the powerful neural engine, ensuring privacy and speed. For its bold entry into spatial computing with the Vision Pro, it couldn't rely on anyone else. It had to design the powerful M2 chip and the revolutionary new R1 chip, which processes input from all the sensors in near real time to make the virtual world feel real. Looking even further ahead, two rumored ambitions in autonomous vehicles and beyond. One thing is certain: the future of Apple will not be built on borrowed technology. It will be forged in-house, etched into silicon of its own design. This epic journey from frustrated dependency to absolute control is more than just a corporate strategy. It is the very essence of Apple's identity, a relentless pursuit to build the entire widget, from the software you touch to the silicon soul that brings it to life.